week on CrunchWeek, Jet takes on Amazon. Amazon and Apple report their earnings, and Uber beats New York. Hi, I'm Matthew Lynley.
I'm Alex.
And Sarah Buhr.
Okay, so you tried Jet, right?
I did.
All right, let's talk about Jet for a second here.
Okay, well, first, what do you want to know about Jet?
Well, what is it? Is it? No, it has something to do with Amazon.
Yeah, so, well, sort of. The way I believe they were trying to position it as a way to take on the Costco service where you pay a membership fee and then you go into Costco and you load up.
Order a ton of stuff.
Way too many things, yes.
What did you order this time?
So, well, I went into Jet to check it out. It's really, well, let's be honest, it's actually here to take on Amazon, not really,
Thank you.
Not Costco, but, if you like the physical experience, Costco's always going to be there. Amazon, anyway, and they are trying to beat Amazon on pricing. So you go in there, you look up something like toilet paper or paper towels, which is what I did. I also looked up Tom's of Maine toothpaste, and at first they didn't have it, and then I guess because I had searched for it, then they were able to pull it in from some other site.
How does this have a business?
So is there a point you pay this membership fee per year and then
you're
you do
supposed
less
to,
per product?
You pay $49
for
which
a full
beats
year.
Amazon Prime
By
$99.
50%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I
that's
pay
the idea.
that, and then I go to the site. I can buy whatever I want, and their pitch is that it's a lower price point.
Right,
for
but
each.
here's what I found is that it's other reporters said that they did find lower prices. I did not. I found the exact same prices as was on Amazon, and when I went to Amazon, I was able to coupon clip and get a cheaper price on Amazon.
So, but one of Jet's selling points is it delivers to you faster.
Yes, and that is true because on Amazon, although you can clip the coupon and it's relatively cheaper, they won't ship it to you unless you have like certain other items that they can bundle it with. So you have to wait for
even
your
with
items.
Prime, Jet can be a faster shipping service?
Yes.
So that implies a higher cost on their side and a lower price point, and I'm paying a lower fee, so how the hell does that make any economic sense?
No, but here's the other crazy part, right? Like other reporters had gone through and other places that I read, they'd gone through and ordered all these items. They got them quickly, but what they found is that Jet was actually ordering them from places like Amazon and Walmart. And
oh God.
Right, so I don't know how they're making any money.
So if they don't have a SKU in their database, they'll go to jcpenney.com or sarahbuhr.tumblr.gif and order the good and ship it to me faster at a lower price. How does that not lose boatloads
of money?
Oh, okay.
Well, it's basically
I was curious.
It's like VC funded for the time being, right?
Right.
So
they've raised more than 200 million, right?
No, $275 million.
It's $275 million.
Yes, right.
I love 2015.
But there's
From Goldman Sachs and a bunch of other people.
There's like some ridiculous number that was thrown out before they can actually make money, right? Like,
but isn't it valued at something like $3 billion already?
I don't know that, but I know they're aiming to get to $20 billion of gross merchandise volume or GMV by 2020, and that's when their economics make sense. Mm-hmm. That's a while from now, about 5 years.
This is my other question, though.
Okay.
There's a lot of competition already in this space. And what's going to stop Walmart, the always low price store, and Amazon from just beating them in their own prices? They've been around longer. They have these relationships longer. They can easily do. They already have the inventory.
Larger warehouse.
Speaking of Amazon, like Amazon in like 1 quarter is going to make more money, or in a year is going to make tons more money than Jet will by 2020. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, Amazon, to pivot a little bit, had an amazing quarter. They reported yesterday their earnings.
Stock shot up by
17-18%.
It was like, shocker, Amazon has a profit.
But do you think that was influenced by Prime Day? What do you think that was influencing that?
I really think that Amazon occasionally makes a lot of money to prove they can, about every 6 or 8 quarters, just to be like, oh, and by the way, whenever we want to.
Yeah.
And like, so they were supposed to lose 14 cents a share. They made 19 cents a share.
Yeah.
So $92 million in net profit off of $23.18 billion in revenue. Supposed to be 22 point something. So they beat on everything. And it was a $200 million swing from expected loss to actual profit. And they just spanked it. I mean, it was an amazing quarter for AWS. The whole product line did well, except for internationals, else were a little weak, but whatever.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos is like, aha, I told you guys.
It's more like this. He leans back in his chair, pulls out the cigar, and goes, get it up, you. Love it.
But okay, given all of that, do you think that right now it's a good investment?
Oh, I certainly don't know that, especially given the massive premium. They gained, tens of billions of dollars in market cap yesterday because investors were so surprised by both the revenue growth and the profitability.
I mean, let's be fair. We have that like lying around here somewhere, right? So
25, $30 billion. Yeah, it's over there. It's in quarters, though, so it's kind of a mountain, if you will.
They're just going to jump in a pile.
No, but I mean, it's been a really interesting earnings cycle. The first bit was very positive, and then there was kind of a trough, and then Amazon was like, oh, and by the way, ding, ding, ding. So it's almost been mixed, but I mean, Apple had a great quarter as well, for example. I mean, they spanked it on, again, revenue and profit, but they had a problem, which was their forward guidance on the sequential quarter basis was weak. About $2 billion in revenue beneath what the market expected. So they lost, what was it, 7-8 points after hours, even though they had an amazingly strong quarter. So we're seeing a bit of a mismatch.
Well, the iPhone sales were also a little bit light, right?
So were iPad sales.
I mean, that's like their biggest business and their most important business, right? So when you start missing on iPhone stuff, and I think the international numbers were kind of wonky as well. Is that
Although
right?
the Chinese numbers were up 110, 112% year over year. So I think the Chinese growth has been very strong, but overall there's a lot of economic weakness in Europe, especially in the Baltic areas. So I think Apple had a really, they made so much money. It's hard to really talk shit about Apple ever, because they're like, oh, we made $5 billion in profits. Oh no, that's not enough. But I mean, people just wanted more looking forward. So yeah.
So Uber had a lot more. Doesn't it feel like there's something with Uber every week?
At least every other week.
Uber takes on the world, or the world
itself.
takes on Uber, or someone's taking on Uber.
Okay, so
It's so true.
So hold on. So this all started with what?
Okay, so the one this week?
Yeah,
Just this week?
this-
'Cause
okay,
we're only
well-
talking about this week.
Yeah.
It's not Crunch Month, guys. Come on.
yesterday, I guess.
So in New York, a mayor of New York and the city council decided that there were too many Ubers on the street, especially during rush hour, and it was probably clogging up all sorts of congestion. They wanted to put a cap on how many Ubers were going to be out
Congestion
in the
New
city.
York.
Oh, right,
Who would
okay.
have ever
Everybody
thought that was
knows
an
who's
issue
been
in
to New York.
Manhattan?
This is not a new thing in New York. There's congestion everywhere in New York before Uber was there.
Wait, was it a cap on total cars or the addition of new Uber drivers?
No, from what that's a good question. I know it was 1% cap.
Okay, fine.
I don't know if it was drivers.
I think it was a growth cap of 200 drivers per year,
Yeah.
which would be so.
It's not a lot of drivers for
Yeah,
Uber.
exactly.
Yes, which would seriously limit them, right?
Absolutely.
So from what I understand, this all stemmed from a report in March that said that there were more Ubers than there were yellow cabs in the city for the first time, right? There are like 14,000 Uber drivers and 13 some odd thousand yellow cab drivers, but especially around a promotion that Uber was running to have their cars hover around rush hour at congested areas. Right, so
What would that do? Limit wait times for riders, I presume?
I have no idea because I mean I'm so used to just walking out on the street and raising my hand and getting a cab.
right,
so.
there's never-ending cabs
Yeah.
in New York. It's
Well,
not
in
like San
Midtown,
Francisco.
yes, but go up farther north and there's less, right? I mean,
Yeah,
so
or
Wow.
maybe you're in like the Bronx or in Queens or something
right.
like that.
New York City is not just Midtown,
Yeah.
right, of Manhattan. I think people conflate that taxi density with the entire city, which is ridiculous.
And of course, Uber had an amazing gag to kind of needle Bill de Blasio, right?
Oh yeah, they got celebrities involved. They got the governor involved. I mean, they did this great campaign where they made people see what it would look like to wait for an Uber if it was capped and they didn't have enough cars for them. It was something like
It was
half
inside
an
the
hour
application,
to
you put
wait.
the de
Yeah, it was just
Blasio-
this.
yeah,
It was like
yeah.
a joke campaign.
I love Uber's sheer middle finger.
But it
Like,
worked.
Totally.
It worked.
worked.
They took on the city and they won.
So what do they win?
So for the time being, they bought themselves about 4 months of time. So there's no cap on drivers in the city, not growth in the city for about 4 months' time, while the city has time to study whether this really is a congestion problem, right? So, and Uber, on their part, is supposed to help them with data, with rider information and times it takes, and also they're supposed to boost wheelchair access for their riders. That's
Uber's had a problem with that in more than one city so far.
They've had several, in several cities, and that's been a problem for. In fact, they're in a lawsuit because they haven't been providing enough wheelchair access.
I find that's a very reasonable complaint.
And some of the drivers have been denying people with seeing eye dogs or not picking them up because they didn't want to deal with wheelchair access. So this has been a problem.
Kind of a PR epic failure in the making.
Well, this is Uber. Every single week there's.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Uber's middle name is actually PR fail, but you know. What can
Well,
you do?
I mean, I don't know if you guys checked out the app, but I mean, of course, there was another there was a whole option dedicated to this where it's like the wait time was 25 or 30 minutes or something ridiculous like that. So clearly they have a very strong opinion about whether this would have just totally screwed up the system there, right? Is that right?
It was the de Blasio option, right?
Yeah, that was the de Blasio option.
Yeah.
It was kind of, I mean. was very clever on their part.
It was clever and
it was
so in your
instigated.
face.
It was instigated by David Plouffe, who I mean was very successful
Who
at.
is clearly fist bumping so hard right now.
Right. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Who'd you like more, David Plouffe or Paisley Poof? I really feel like there's a really important.
Paisley is our producer's dog. For those.
She
who
was
don't
on the
know.
show last week if you hadn't seen that, but yeah.
All right, well, with that, I think that's all the time we have. Thank you for joining us this week.